Good afternoon. Welcome to Sunshine Reports. My name is Timi Lane Faladi. President Bola Tinubu has declared a state of emergency on food security as the federal government step up efforts to tackle food inflation following the removal of fuel subsidy. Tinubu also approved that all matters pertaining to food and water availability as well as affordability as essential livelihood items be included within the purview of the National Security Council. This is to be followed by an immediate release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households to mitigate the effects of the subsidy removal. Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, disclosed this to newsmen after consultations with key stakeholders in the agricultural sector value chain at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Now, facts have emerged that lawmakers will get up to 70 billion naira in the 819 billion naira supplementary budget passed by the National Assembly. The Senate had approved the $800 million World Bank loan request by President Bola Tinubu. The sum will be extracted from the 819 billion naira Supplementary Appropriation Act 2022. 500 billion naira was earmarked for palliatives and other capital expenditures to cushion the effects of the recent fuel subsidy removal. 70 billion naira was budgeted to support the working conditions of the National Assembly. At the same time, 185.2 billion naira was earmarked for the Ministry of Works and Housing to alleviate the impact of the severe flooding experienced in the country in 2022. Also, 19.2 billion naira was budgeted for the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to ameliorate the massive destruction to farmlands across the country during the severe flooding experienced last year. The creative and inventive spirit of Nigerians is continued to cushion the effect of continuous increases in prices of goods and services. With a recent hike in the prices of petrol, Nigerians are beginning to look at cutting costs. While many no longer go out with their personal cars, many are resorting to converting the petrol-powered electricity generators set to the far cheaper liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), better known as cooking gas. Osrc Joy Pyle spoke with some stakeholders on the development and now reports.
Recent developments arising from the removal of petrol subsidy have led to the hike in pump price of petrol and have increased the rate of conversion of petrol generators to liquefied petroleum gas. In view of these developments, many Nigerians and businesses have resorted to converting their petrol-powered generators to run on cooking gas. These businessmen in Akure Metropolis, Blessing Ademujimi and Shedrack Ogumokun, who have long converted their generators from petrol to cooking gas, said it is economical because it is cheaper compared to the current price of petrol.
In a day, we used to use 5 liters every day. Yes, that's how we use it every day. But when we start using gas, we use 3 kg in a day. That 2 kg now, we buy a kg of gas 560. So I was doing nothing like 9. It was on like 9 hours in a day. So before we used to use like 5 liters every day, because there is difference between the gas and the petrol. So we prefer using the gas than the petrol.
When the subsidy was removed, it was 5,000 naira per day, which I use 5,000 naira worth of fuel per day. But now me using gasoline, gas of 5,000 naira, I use it 2 days, sometimes 2 days and a half, and I still take it home. I still take the cylinder home for my domestic use. So some people said it is dangerous, hazardous, stuff like that. But you know, everything in life is all about risk.
Experts have welcomed the innovation, saying the idea presents cost-saving benefits to consumers over the long term, adding that with the involvement of new technology, there is need for Nigerians to adapt to change.
You spend more when you're using petrol to power generator than when you're using gas. But apart from the cost aspect of it, the emission from the generator that is using LPG is cleaner. It doesn't have more emissions.
If you can handle your cooking gas conveniently, you can handle your generator using gas conveniently. So, technology is dynamic. You can't be static. People are using diesel before. Gradually, they are shifting out, making use of gas engine to power the high rate generator, heavy duty generator. Now, if an individual house, if you are gradually moving from that petrol engine to gas engine, it's more cheaper and it's more advisable.
When asked about the safety of running generator on cooking gas, they addressed the perceived risk associated with using liquefied petroleum gas for generators, emphasizing that LPG, when handled properly, is as safe to use as petrol.
If you can maintain your cooking gas successfully, you can maintain it successfully. It's not advisable because of the heat that we're generating that you place it side by side. Unless you keep it a little meter. You have a hose, keeping it like less than a meter, it's okay.
You don't put the generator in a confined space. It must be outside. And that's number one, because of the emissions now. Now, if the generator is outside and the gas is outside, even if there is any challenge, you see that there is dispersion of the gas because of the action of air. But the system must be leak-proof as much as possible. The regulator must be well intact, and at the same time, too, the valves and every control, the pipe should be well connected. Because when you have gas leakage, then you see that even the person is losing economically because you are losing money. So the connection must be well and be intact, and it is well regulated. Then you buy the quality hybrid carburetor.
Despite assurances from stakeholders that installing cooking gas into generators is safe, the need for residents of a state to only employ qualified technicians to convert their generators was also emphasized. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Now to electoral matters. Opposition parties in Nigeria have demanded the resignation of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmood Yakubu, on the basis of the European Union Election Observer Mission report, which gave INEC low marks in its conduct of the general elections. The Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party said the EU report on the election has confirmed their positions that the 2023 polls were not transparent or credible. But the INEC and the All Progressives Congress dismissed Yakubu's indictment by the parties. The electoral agency had declared the APC standard bearer, Bola Tinubu, the winner of the presidential election, but the verdict was challenged by the Labour Party, PDP, and other opposition parties. Tinubu polled 8,794,726 votes to defeat the PDP standard bearer, Atiku Abubakar, and his Labour Party counterpart, Peter Obi, who garnered 6,984,520 votes and 6,101,533 votes. Atiku and Obi, however, rejected the results, with each claiming at separate press conferences that the election was fraught with violence and massive rigging. Consequently, both candidates headed for the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal to seek redress. Chief Observer Barry Andrews, member of the European Parliament, who presented the preliminary findings of the EU EOM report in Abuja, observed that shortcomings in the law and electoral administration hindered the conduct of the well-run and inclusive elections and damaged trust in INEC. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Daudu, says the case of a suspended and detained governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, will serve as test of President Bola Tinubu's respect for the rule of law. Daudu, who is counsel for Emefiele, stated this shortly after the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Abuja, gave the Department of State Services a 7-day ultimatum to either release Emefiele, who has been in detention since June 10, or arraign him in court if they have a case against him. Justice Hamza Muazu gave the order while ruling on the fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by Emefiele through Daudu to challenge his arrest and continued detention by the DSS. Justice Muazu held that though the DSS has constitutional power to arrest, detain, and prevent internal crime, the power must be exercised within the ambit of the law. The Osrc State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kehinde Longe, has brokered peace between the chief imam of the Kamaruddin Mosque, Osogbo, Alhaji Kasim Yunus, and the custodian of the masquerade, Chief Kayode Eshuleke, as the annual Egungun masquerade holds in the town. A statement issued in Osogbo by the command spokesperson, Yemisi Opalola, said the two men agreed to allow peace reign during the festival at a meeting held at the instance of a CP. Members of the Kamaruddin Mosque and the followers of Eshuleke masquerade had a history of dangerous clashes, the last one being the bloody fight of Sunday, June 27, 2021, which led to the death of a member of the mosque while 9 others were injured. To prevent a recurrence, Longe, who harped on the need to embrace peace at the meeting, also warned that the command would not condone any act that could lead to a breach of public peace. Police authorities in Abuja have paraded no fewer than 20 suspects arrested for offences including conspiracy, attempted murder, kidnapping, armed robbery, and possession of illicit drugs, among others. One of the suspects, a 32-year-old Yusuf Isa, was arrested in connection with October 2022 attack on the General Overseer of Omega Fire Ministries Worldwide, Apostle Johnson Suleiman. The suspect, in an interview with journalists, admitted that the attack on the cleric was meant to assassinate him. Gunmen attacked the convoy of the cleric along the Benin-Auchi Road in Edo State and killed 6 persons, including 3 policemen. Addressing journalists while parading the suspect and others in Abuja, the first public relations officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, said operatives of the Intelligence Rapid Team arrested Issa following an intensive investigation. Issa told newsmen that he and his gang members trailed the pastor to the point where he was attacked with 5 AK-47 rifles. President Bola Tinubu has hailed the wife of General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Osrc, Pastor Folu Adeboye, for her wonderful virtues, devotion to her husband, the church, and family values on the anniversary of her birthday. Adeboye, who is reputed for her evangelical work with children, young people, and the downtrodden, turned 75. Tinubu, in a statement by his special advisor, Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, noted with admiration many of the outreach programs of the Osrc targeted at rehabilitating drug addicts and the poor, spearheaded by Mrs. Adeboye. The president celebrated the godly woman, Pastor Folu Adeboye, on the occasion of her 75th birthday. He said Mrs. Adeboye's generosity of spirit and unflinching commitment to seeing that young people live value-guided life will continue to be a guide and beacon to many. Similarly, Tinubu has showered encomiums on Nobel laureate and elder statesman Professor Wole Soyinka on his 89th birthday, describing him as a veritable source of support, inspiration, and encouragement. World Health Organization Agency, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, has declared that aspartame, an artificial sweetener widely used in diet drinks and low-sugar foods, could possibly cause cancer. A statement made by the global health body noted that IARC classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans on the basis of limited evidence for cancer in humans, specifically for hepatocellular carcinoma, which is a type of liver cancer. The WHO agency, however, said aspartame is safe to consume within a daily limit of 40 milligrams per kilogram of a person's body weight. Aspartame is an artificial sweetener widely used in various food and beverage products since the 1980s, including diet drinks, chewing gum, gelatin, ice cream, dairy products such as yogurt, breakfast cereal, toothpaste, and medications such as cough syrup and chewable vitamins. And with that, we conclude Sunshine Reports this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Timileyin Falade. Good afternoon.